So hi everybody and welcome back to Weakenesses TV and this series that I'm doing on DiSC workplace assessments in the workplace and the incredible impact that they have on creating highly functioning teams. Let's start as we always do with this quote from Carl Jung that until we make the unconscious conscious, it will direct our lives, and we call it fate. And in respect of that fate in the workplace, we call those events personality clashes, square pegs in round holes, bad apples in barrels, and so on. But it doesn't have to be that way, because DiSC is the antidote to that dysfunction, because it gives your team real self-awareness, empathy with how other people behave and why they behave that way, and therefore creates harmony, a sense of values in the organisation, but most importantly for you as a small business owner, a clear function on results, on the bottom line, and not a focus on office politics, on team members and personality clashes. So the S-type person, unlike the I-type person that we looked at last time, who has that high tempo, fast-paced, outspoken, gregarious, confident personality, with the S-type person, you'll find them much more reserved. So although they share the same people first qualities, what you will notice in an S-type person is the same warmth, but they do it in a much more calmer, almost serene manner. They're just not extroverts like the I-types are. So in terms of the 8 priorities, the S-type person focuses on support, although they are heavily influenced by collaboration and stability. And you'll remember the S-type person from episode 1, the Good Samaritan who left their space in the lift to go and help somebody that had just dropped all their files, only to be rewarded with losing their place in the lift. But actually the way that they responded was one where they were actually quite pleased to put that other person first. So you may have judged that person to be kind and thoughtful, considerate. Perhaps, or maybe you judge them to be a bit weak and gullible. Well, the answer to that depends on your own work style profile and how self-aware you are, how empathic your understanding is of other people. In other words, have you made your unconscious drivers conscious? Well, that's what DiSC is all about. Productive, harmonious relationships based on empathy. The S-style profile communicates with others in a caring, nurturing, and helpful manner. They put people first, just like that lady did in the elevator example. You find qualities of patience, sincerity, and a real relaxed personality. They're always the people in your organisation that you can count on. They're reliable and consistent, and they're loyal. So let's bring all those qualities to life with some people that we're familiar with. So Princess Diana is a fantastic example of the S-type's caring and nurturing personality, genuinely interested in other people's well-being and always putting other people first. Similarly, David Beckham, despite his public profile on the football pitch and in fashion, is actually a very private person. And despite all of the amazing work that he's done for UNICEF as an ambassador, you will hear very little from him about the care and commitment that he brings to that role, and indeed the support that he gives to an awful lot of other charities and has done for many years. But remember that all personality types, although they have great strengths, they also have great challenges as well. The S-type person can be indecisive, and it seemed that in the build-up to World War II that everybody around Anthony Eden could see the harsh reality of the situation except from him. He just couldn't face up to the problems in front of him and deal with them. He couldn't make a decision, and that's the biggest challenge that S-type people have. They are indecisive. You remember in episode 3, I used the example of a D-dominant style colleague instructing their S-type colleague to produce a report 3 days earlier than expected, with all of the stress and discomfort that was greeted with. S-type people like their expectations being managed. They like predictability, and they do not like those expectations being trampled on. They don't like unexpected change. And as a consequence, where S-type people are not involved in the decision to make the changes, they can become resistant to that change, inflexible and rigid in their desire to maintain the status quo. At the extreme, that level of indecision can spill over into hesitancy, nervousness, and even a panic about dealing with the inevitable changes that we have to make in business, and will project that anxiety onto the team members around them. But what if the steady person made their unconscious conscious and had a thorough understanding of how their working style may be interpreted by others? And therefore that they made subtle changes to the way that they communicate with their team members. They could ask to be included in the planning stage of those changes, ask what options are available, and that they could be talked through, have time for questioning. And once the decisions had been made, that the plans for those changes were shared and their expectations were fully managed. A critical thing to S-type people, that they just don't sit there, but they push for inclusion. That could be done if they understand their personality. And what about in turn if the S-type person's colleagues around them also made their unconscious conscious and empathized with the S-type person, that they made sure that they felt comfortable with every step in the process, and they recognized that the S-type person prefers a much slower, more cautious and thorough approach, and they don't always speak out when they should, and therefore they invest in the relationship by proactively including that S-type in the debate, and therefore they create buy-in, the most important thing to do with S-types when you've got change. So give each individual in an organisation a DiSC assessment, and you will build a team that are empathic, trusting and understanding of one another's motives, who engage in productive, dispassionate, healthy debate, which creates buy-in and a commitment to the cause, leading to accountability and a focus on results. And I'm repeating it, but there's the financial benefit for you as a business owner, a team that focuses on results and not on the negative aspects of the relationships that they have with their team members. So next time we're going to be looking at the final personality type in DiSC, the C or the conscientious type. So I'll see you next time.